This time we're going to take a look at carbon. And while I say a few things, I'll put on a slideshow. The village of Carbon is located just out of Greensburg. A lot of people don't know that it was once a mining community. It was once a little patch town of a coal mine. We're going to see the town, the little village. We're going to see the mine. And we'll see an airport that used to be up in Carbon. That's long gone. Carbon mine was organized in the 1880s. 1887 was the year they filed their corporate papers. And by 1888, they were starting up business. It was the Carbon Coal Company that owned it originally. And by 1902, it was acquired by Keystone Coal and Coke. James C. Clark was on the board of directors of both of those outfits, so it's probably, there's a bit of a connection there probably, even before they were legally working under the same name. Keystone Coal and Coke had retained it as their carbon mine. It ran for about 30 years, shutting down in 1918 after the First World War. The mine hired, at different times, different numbers of people from around 200 or to around 400, depending on how good things were. Probably the best times were during the war, First World War, around 1914 to 1918, when they shut down. And what we do now is shift gears just a bit and take a look at some of these images individually. This is the railroad configuration around Greensburg. Greensburg was right in here. And if you're looking for mines, usually the railroads will show you where they are. This was the carbon mine down here. And this was the Routabaugh branch, which we've seen in these previous things about things surrounding Greensburg. This was the southwest branch. And this was the main line in Routabaugh out here. Now I put this together to help make it a bit more understandable. This is the Routabaugh branch running through here. This is Stanton Street coming out from Greensburg, coming down through the village of Carbon. And if you look carefully, you'll notice that there's a bridge that takes you over the railroad. And then right down below here, this is where the mine was. And there's no trace of it now. It's been really well disguised. I'll show you a picture later on how well it's been hidden. That was the carbon mine when it was up and operating. And no one ever said mines had to be pretty places. This was from a publication called Sparks, locally published in the 1890s, and it had a picture of the carbon mine. I cleaned that up a little bit and put some color on it. I like color, it makes everything better. This is 1915 mapping showing the carbon mine. It had a slope entrance, that was the entrance right there, and then this is the tipple coming out over top of the railroad tracks. And we'll see that. These were coke ovens going out this way. It had about 50 coke ovens. This is this shows Keystone Coal and Coke, their holdings. They were rather acquisitive and rather aggressive in acquiring things. Their first mine was down here. That was Greensburg number 1 and then became Keystone number 1. Keystone number 2 was over here. That was called Red Onion. And this was Carbon up here. And that's a topo of the area. Greensburg, the main line, Routabaugh branch, southwest branch, and there's Carbon. This gives us an aerial view. I like these. It helps to kind of put things together. This is Greensburg. And Route 30 is going right here. This is Stanton Street coming out and going into the village of Carbon. The road comes down over top of the railroad tracks. This is the Roundabout Branch, and this is where the mine was. It's now called Cool Valley, a housing project down there. This is the airport up at Carbon. This was on the opening day in 1947. Another shot for the opening of Carbon Airport. This is the village over here. That's the landing strip. This shot was taken about 1952. And if you look for Route 30 down here, you're not going to see it because it wasn't built yet. This is Greensburg over here, the village of Carbon up here. Another shot of the airport up there. This is another topo showing Route 30 running along here. This is Greensburg over here, the village of Carbon, and this shows where the airport was. This is now ball fields, Carbon ball fields. This is Central Catholic over here. And that shows you, again, the mine. I just wanted to put it here so you could compare it with what's there now. That's what's there now. The mine has been totally taken down. Nature has done her thing and grown trees and grass, and people have come along and built houses. This is Hunter Road coming out here. This is the road to Sweet Hill, and this is Brownfield Drive, right down below Carbon. That's where the mine was. This is the little village of Carbon. These are duplex houses built by the company. This is going north up to Greensburg. That's in the parking lot at Gino's up in Carbon. I was checking out a really neat old customized coupe, and somebody took my picture. Now, I think we said enough, and we're going to shut this down, and we'll see you again when we take a look at Red Onion.